It was shown that the limbic system is the fruit of same order. However, there is a big difference. Neuroscience calls the limbic system the unconscious or subconscious, where the fruit of same order is consciousness, made up of first 7 consciousness. The question is if the limbic system represents unconscious or subconscious. There are reports and studies of subconscious eye or blind sight, and unconscious perception of sound indicate that the limbic system is at least subconscious, or more appropriately conscious. It was also said that the limbic system, which is fruit of same order, though, can come before the neocortex or the fruit of functions, but the sequence can be reversed, as whatever happened in fruit of functions can, through perfuming the seeds in 8th consciousness, which is deeply hidden, for them to arise later as fruit of same order, or the limbic system as in the dotted red line. This red line is also in string theory. The brain structure is not both hierarchical and reciprocal. For string theorists, they are not sure which of the 5 superstrings is needed, the purpose of M theory and F theory. They don't know that all these are not only needed, but concurrent. A man known only as Tien in Switzerland had 2 strokes. They damaged his occipital cortex, which is responsible for vision. Extensive testing of Tien confirmed that even though his eyes were fine, he's completely blind. But neuroscientist Beatrice de Gelder wanted to study Tien further. Her team laid out an obstacle course in a hallway. The obstacles consisted of everyday objects with different shapes and sizes. She then told Tien to walk down the hall. Tien wasn't aware of the objects, but instead of walking straight ahead, he carefully stepped around each of the obstacles without touching any of it. Tien was surprised that the scientist was surprised. Since he had not seen any object, he wasn't aware of having achieved anything sensational. Tien has what is known as blind sight. Though the primary part of his brain that processes visual information is destroyed, he still has more primitive parts of his brain intact, and these are capable of doing some visual processing. This and many similar cases demonstrate a point. Tien, as a person, must first be conscious for him to walk down the hallway. It was only his eyesight that did not come up in the neocortex area, hence the effect on fruit of functions, but his fruit of same order or limbic system must be intact, hence he still has eye consciousness, with lesser capabilities or effects. Hence blind sight should be at least subconscious, if not conscious. Next is the unconscious perception of sounds. It is said the research team proved that the human brain unconsciously distinguishes between even very similar sound signals during passive listening. The team then said that this potential is a sign of a hidden, implicit form of learning that is constantly happening in our lives. This shows 2 points. First is that there exists the first 7 consciousness with the presence of different sounds, but the fruit of functions did not take effect, but it doesn't mean it is totally not functioning, which will be explained shortly. Second, the hidden implicit form of learning is perfumed or conditioned through the red lines. Let's switch to 12-factor dependent origination. Fruit of functions arises as the direct cause of both the consciousness and name-form factors. Direct cause are type 2b strings, which are fruit of same order. The reason being the seeds in 8th consciousness, which is the consciousness factor to An, for example, are also called direct cause. Fruit of same order is like a water tap. Once turned on, the water just streams out, which is almost impossible to stop. It is from where fruit of function, shown in the red circle with wordings highlighted in yellow, will arise when the conditions are right, as shown in the green line. They are touch, 6 sense bases, and sensation. Fruit of functions is genuine first 6 consciousness, and it is related to the neocortex, which neuroscience calls consciousness. It is where we clearly have the experiences of what we are conscious about, and with it we can initiate actions with intention and have different types of emotion which we are aware of. The fruit of functions, before it vanishes, it perfumes the seeds in 8th consciousness. If it is an action, for example learning a skill, the seeds get recorded in the 8th consciousness. The perfuming could cause the formation of mental habits like greed or anger. The speed of learning and formation of habits depends on the strength of the 6th mind consciousness, which might be at the insula of the brain. More attentive learning will perfuming the seeds stronger with faster learning. This is the reason why in the string theory diagram on the right, there exists a S-duality between type 2a, which is fruit of functions, and M theory, which is 8th consciousness. S-duality means strong-weak duality. We can see that the string theory diagram and the 12-factor dependent origination diagram are exactly the same. This is in addition, the string theory diagram drawn after 1995 is the same diagram as Taishu drew back in 1927. This confirms that there is a deeply hidden reality where learning and formation of habits are through this hidden substrate of the universe. It is not what neuroscientists think that the amygdala can process and learn on its own.